Hello and welcome to the Golf Swing, the weekly fix. My name is Mark Crossfield. We've got a group of guys coming at you today, set me their swing, and we're seeing a little bit of issues with their club path. So they're getting a little bit rounded, a little bit flat on their plane, so we're going to talk about that. We've also got another group of guys who sent me their swing through the iPhone app. Their problem, they got issues with their hip turn. They're tending to sway a lot on the hip turn, which is then getting their spine angle a little bit in a muddle on the backswing. So we're going to talk about that as well. Let's get out there, give you some help, see if we can get you playing some better golf. So the first three swingers we've got here, we've got a very rounded kind of approach to hitting the ball, very underplane approach to hitting the ball from all three. And for each three golfers, what we see from that rounded plane is we see this temptation and definitely carrying on through to this early extension, this pushing forward of the hips as they come through, all built around this rounded plane. Now, different reasons for rounded plane. Some just prefer rounded plane. One player standing, weight on the heels, quite upright. That encourages a rounded plane. So really you want to start thinking about getting the backswing straighter back, a bit more on plane, not so rounded as we're seeing in each three of these, which will then help you to develop a better impact position moving away from this early extension. So look, what we're seeing from each player is a temptation just simply to pull the club straight back behind them, getting very flat, quite low, hands quite a long way behind them at the top of the backswing, where we want to feel like you're getting, I want you to try and see that you're getting your hands a bit more over your right shoulder at the top of your backswing, a little higher, so feel like you're more straighter back. Basically, if I turn this way, it's very easy for me to push my hips forward, where if I lean over, hands down, and then start swinging my arms more up in the air and down, it's harder for me to come out of my posture, because as my arms come down, it feels like my shoulders want to stay over the ball a bit more. So look, drills guys, for you guys getting a bit more on plane. First thing, get a alignment stick or something, club on the ground. I've got one of these alignment canes here. Pop it down on the ground, get some reference points to see exactly where you are swinging, because what you're going to find is that you're not actually swinging where you think you are. When you think you are straight back from the ball, you're going to find that you're well underplaying. So first drill, done this in other lessons, works really well. Split hand drill, get your hands apart on the club and just take the club back for the first couple of feet of moving it away from the ball or imaginary ball. Feel that the head stays outside of this orange alignment plane as it moves back, as your hands move along it. Your temptation in your backswing is to pull the hands back and then the club further back of the hands still. So it's about trying to get the relationship between the club head and your hands a bit more realistic, and this split hand drill gives you that feeling. Feel that the club moves back outside of that cane or along the cane, so staying to the right side of it, hands stay inside of it. Just pull your hands back up together and feel how that gets you setting the club a little bit up more up in the air. Another good way of feeling where the hand should go, just set the club a little bit more at this right angle to the ground. I've done this in other videos, so set a right angle, hands under shoulders, so basically pre-setting the wrists. And then from there, just feel like you turn the club up over your right shoulder. Just feel how more of a stretch that is to your more rounded positions you're getting. Really simple as well. Using this cane on the floor when you're hitting shots, you can always just swing along it, stop when the club's parallel to the ground, and try and feel that the club is parallel to that cane on the ground. Don't want it behind that cane, so at a different angle. That'll give you the feeling of setting that takeaway a bit more straight back on plane, and I think you'll find that chain reactor getting you much more in an upright position, which will then start to allow you to turn through it rather than getting this early extension that you guys are all getting. So three swings here, all looking at the way the hips move on the backswing. We're seeing a bit of funky hip turn going on the backswing on these three swings. So player one here, the young player, it's more of a classic example of trying to sway to create some energy. You are actually turning around a good spine angle. You're just kicking your right hip out a long way as you make your backswing. Got to calm that down. Player two and three, it's more of the classic hip start a little bit, set too far back at the beginning, shoulders and upper body tilts too far forward at the beginning, and then turning around this poor spine angle that you set up in your address positions. So look, what we're going to do, let's talk a little bit about how to try and think about your right hip in the backswing and how it relates to your shoulder. So what we're seeing is quite a lot of hip sway going on. Certainly player one, you're actually turning around the right spine angle, but as you do it, you're swaying your hips across, getting your knees too far involved. A lot to do with that was because you're a junior, you're trying to just create as much momentum as possible, but a little bit more coil, certainly starting at a young age, is just going to help you as you get stronger to use your body rather than sway it around for any kind of power. So you'll get more consistency while maintaining same and maybe getting a bit more power. So for you, it's a case of, and all three of you really, you need to start with your right hip over the inside of your right foot. Now player one, the young man's doing that, the other two are not. They're starting with their hip a little bit more over the centre of their foot, and then in turn what they're doing is their upper body then starts to lean forward, so you get this kind of spine angle that leans towards the range a little bit. Now that encourages you to turn around the wrong spine angle, which always gives you this kind of over the top action that we get in so many lessons that I do, and it's built all around this poor address position, then spine angle in your backswing. So for all three of you, look, make sure your right hip is over the inside of your right foot address. Simply draw a line down with your club. That'll make you feel like you've got to kick your right knee inside this line as well. Two of you are not going to be able to manage to do that. If you get the foot or the club on the inside of your right foot, you're going to notice that the shaft leans at an angle to get past your knees. So you've got to try and get your hips set slightly more target bound. Then your upper body will just be slightly behind the ball now, so you're going to build your swing around a spine angle leading this way. Much more positive, turning around this position, because it's going to encourage you to get much more of an on-plane or even inside attack on the ball and get rid of this negative spine angle, turning a bit more over on top of the ball. So, right hip starts on the inside of your right foot. You'll feel that puts the weight on the inside of your right foot. Then the trick is to try and keep your hips there. Hips can just turn. Now, I don't want them swaying. You want to keep the weight on the inside of your right foot, but get your upper body turning behind the ball. So down and behind. So resisting with your lower half, but turning with your upper. This coil is going to set you up for a much better backswing, which will only encourage you then to fire your hips and shoulders in the right order on the downswing to get the club coming down more on plane. The more you turn around a spine angle, and this is an exaggeration, which is set this way, the more you're going to come over the top. Again, exaggeration, the more you turn around a spine angle that's set this way, so this is an exaggeration on the theme, the more you're going to hit from the inside. So you want to play golf more around this theme, not this theme. So it's about trying to feel how your right hip reacts with your upper body. Right hip should start on the inside of your right foot at address. You'll feel the weight pushing down on the inside of your right foot, and then you should be turning against that right hip, not allowing that right hip to wander to the right here as I swing. So if I'm going to hit a shot here, setting myself up, I can feel my hips over the inside of my right foot, and I'm going to try and keep it there. Then firing it on the way through. So I'm going to turn against that right hip, then fire on the way through, hips going forwards. Look guys, for the two older players, certainly set up, about trying to get more this way with your setup away from this angle. That's going to encourage you to make the right move. And the young man, you've got to start trying to get rid of all this leg movement, get your hips much quieter to try and help you fire a little better on the way through. Hope that helps guys. Let me know how you get on.